Still counting, still waiting. And then we're live, I think. Are we? Yes. Yes! Boom, we're here. Right. Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream. No audio issues this time? I think no audio issues this time. Looks like microphone is connected. This could be the first time in a very long time that we've started a stream without audio problems. But you know, there's still time. So, today, if it's not already obvious from the title and the picture on the box and all the writing on the box and what it looks like in general, today we're going to finally be unboxing the Creality Ender 3 V2. Can it live up to the hype of the Ender 3? Hype of the Ender 3? Reputation of the Ender 3. It's not really hype, it's not theoretical anymore. So yes, curiosity number one. There's this symbol on top of the box that's basically, as far as I know, a symbol for shipping of batteries. But I don't think there's any batteries in this printer. So we'll find that out as we go along, hopefully. Oh, hello everyone. Did I say hello at the beginning? Anyway, hello to everyone and welcome back to those that have joined before. So, was there anything else I need to cover? Don't think so. Yeah, it's the Ender 3, sort of. The version 2 of the Ender 3, even. Let's get on with getting it out the darn box. So, of course, I've got this far before because I took a thumbnail picture. But beyond this point, there's nothing. This packaging is strangely tight in here, but don't think that's a bad thing. Not my favourite packaging. Oh, this is probably why it's all very compressed. Because this stuff is not recyclable as far as I know, so it's all just single-use plastic straight in the bin, which I don't like, which, you know, is not great. But at least it does keep the parts secure. I've never generally really had any major shipping damage with this kind of foam. Right at the top, we've got service user manual. Am I going to update the firmware? I don't know. If it tells me to update the firmware, I will update the firmware. Otherwise, I probably won't. Well, I probably will after the stream, maybe at some point. But the whole point, generally what I do on these live streams is try to give you the kind of experience that a general user would find. So the kind of impression you'd get from first time. So we've got a nice little letter from Creality. Dear friends, thank you for your order. Thanks for the support. Thanks for a chance to get your advice. Feedback, please, is basically what that says, I think. Warranty policy. I think it's the first time I've seen a warranty card in a box. For a long time, at least. The warranty of the machine lasts for 1 year since the purchase of it. Consumables, nozzle, glass, have 3 months of warranty. Giveaways, TF card, card reader, USB cable, wrench, spatula, pliers, etc. have no warranty. If you find any giveaway missing or having quality issues, please contact us within 3 days upon receipt. User manual. Oh goodness. Troubleshooting. That's kind of interesting. The board, some information. Starting printing. Looks like this contains assembly information as well, so we'll probably be needing that. Well, needing. I'll be following it, but I may not need it. Excuse me if I have a bit of wind. I just finished eating dinner. So, seeing glass plate right out the box, or not out the box, I should say. A couple of bits of extrusion. Again, I'm not sure why they need all this plastic wrap on it, to be honest. It may be more of a stacking before they ship it, just so they don't damage it handling. Clearly some machining gone on to these. I think if the Ender 3 is if anything to go by, which I imagine it is, one of these will be the top and one of these will be the actual X-axis rail. Next in the box, we've got whatever's down here. Cool. Looks pretty neat actually. That'll be the screen module, which you can detach apparently, because reasons. Kind of neat. Not sure how necessary that is, but it's kind of neat. Very plasticky, but all seems quite polished finish for the price. Pricing is around £200 to £250 or equivalent monetary units. So that puts it similar price to the Ender 3 Pro. So it's a little bit more expensive than the standard Ender 3, but I think in reality the features do sort of reflect that. I think this is all attached now, so let's see if we can get this all out in one go. No, we can't. Oh, this is not attached. Let's get this thing out. So again, looks very similar to the Ender 3. This is a this is your X motor, and this is your extruder motor. Same plastic extruder. It's got a nice brass insert here, so it shouldn't wear out, because that's one of the issues with the Ender 3. Would have liked to see metal, but not the end of the world. Not sure why this random screw is half sticking out here. Probably see that. Oh, I've got this little close-up camera. Macro lens, are you going to focus, please? Come on. It does not want to focus. Why does it not want to focus? Give me a minute. Here we go. So you can see here this screw that's come just out there. Don't know why that is. Maybe we find out later on. Oh, I'm streaming at the same time as Chris Riley. Well, it's Sunday evening. Okay, so this looks like the whole bed assembly. Set this down here. Hopefully, oh, that doesn't look like the bottom of the box. No, of course, there's plenty more still to go. Running out of space quite quickly. It's not really that heavy, it's just kind of awkward. And that might have just fallen down slightly. I think it's okay. The normal people here is like 60-ish. So this is apparently EU plug version, because so this was provided by Banggood. I probably should have mentioned that at the start. So they kindly provided this to me for review, well, for use, I should say. So I'm doing this video. I was going to get one anyway. So the reason I got the EU plug is the UK one was going to take like another month or something to ship, but because of the COVID stuff as well, all the shipping has taken months, and particularly to the UK. So you might have seen other people opening this already, and I'm a little bit late just because everything was taking a little bit longer to ship. Spatula. So you've got tensioning mechanism here, presumably for the y-axis, don't know which one it is. A spatula which doesn't look particularly sharp, but looks like it reflects the Ender 3 one. A box of goodies, some screws, some soft pad feet, a blue wheel thing, which is presumably a hand drive for the extruder, end stop, a micro SD card reader and the like. A few tools and a big block of something that I don't know what that is. Another plate with some wheels on. another 2 pieces of extrusion and a lead screw in the end that's just fallen out. Oh. Okay, that's just very, very slidey. And a motor. It'd be interesting to see if they sorted out the Z alignment issue from the Ender 3. There we go. Cool. Yes, this is the particular one that Banggood sent me. The Big Tree Tech TFT70. Yes, 7-inch touchscreen display. Kind of cool, but seems a little bit excessive. I don't think that user interface is currently capable of taking full advantage, shall we say, of the size of that display. And I don't know what the resolution is either. So today we're joined by this close-up camera, which is the GH5. It's putting a close-up duty this week instead of main camera. Normally we put it on main, but it wasn't getting used much. As you can see, I switch away from that quite quickly and don't use it very often. So this is going to be the 2 vertical parts, and I'm going to put gloves on because greasy things. Probably a bit excessive considering it's probably not that greasy, but just so he's getting grease over my hands. Ha! And I feel like I'm doing surgery. Right. So, of course, we're going to follow the instructions because that's what normal people do. I think we have all those things, spare parts, lots of things there. Installation of the Z-axis limit switch kit and Z-axis profiles. I don't have an online manual for you this week. There might be one, so if you want to pull one up yourself, you're welcome to, but I don't have one available. I'm just going to be using this manual that's delivered with it. Could be one on the micro SD card. I'm going to have a quick look just to see if there is. There normally is actually, so it may be wise to do that. Trouble is it takes up so much of the screen anyway, I'm not sure it really adds anything. I'm not going to bother. If you want the instructions, I'm sure you can find them on the Creality website. So, printer base, Z-axis profile, left, right, and the Z-axis limit switch kit. That's this little kit here. Hex socket head spring washer combination. That's interesting. So that's your Z-axis limit switch. Where's this going to focus? This is supposed to be macro lens. Why is it not macroing very well? It doesn't like... just taking a while for some reason. Z-axis assembly, limit switch. Hex screws. So presumably that's these long ones, although there are short ones also with washers, and there are other round-headed ones also with washers. So yeah, not particularly clear. In this little bag we've got a couple of the pneumatic fittings that are used for the Bowden spare nozzle, and 2 little blue clips. Some filament, which I wouldn't rate too highly, but is available if you want to use it. This blue knob and this belt. M5 by 45 times 4. These look like those, so let's go with that. So what do we need to do? So this one is this side, that is going to be, really wish I had a bigger desk. Oh, is there? No. You get a little drawer in the front. Smells of plastic a lot, and this belt looks odd. Anyway, focus, Adam, focus. So it looks like this profile with the 2 holes towards the bottom are going on this side. And we need to... Wow, this is super not clear. Basically, we just got to stick this thing on it. I'm going to use the included tools so we can see how good they are. I'm wearing gloves because some parts of it might be greasy. I mean, you don't really need to. Oh, this is side cutters. Another pair of side cutters. Got loads of pairs of these. Yes, I'm planning to assemble it today. Yes, I'm planning to assemble it and do a first print, hopefully. In order to achieve that, I do need to get a move on, though, because these things take time. No, this is not right. Is it? Yeah, that looks right. Is that different to... Nope, it's just the same. You know what I say? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Yeah, that's the one. Wow, they've really increased the thickness of the feet. I don't know if you can see that down here. These feet are like probably 12 mil, 15, yeah, 12 mil thick, something like that. Pretty thick. Almost thick with 2 C's. Right. All the screws are covered in grease as well. Even better reason to wear gloves. It makes my hands itchy, so... I'm still not a big fan of this assembly method. This whole screws in from the bottom just never really does it for me. I'm going to take this out and put it in afterwards because I think it's going to be easier. I mean, I can just shove this on the side and everything will line up. Ah, come on. This is not going well. Why is it not going well? Oh, blimey, okay. That's one in. Yeah, I've definitely got the right, well, I'm pretty confident I've got the right side. But I did check, so, you know, that's a start. There's not an easy way to do this. Doesn't look super straight. But also can't really adjust it, so it's going to stick there. Sometimes I do take these printers apart as I put them together, kind of counterproductively, to see how everything else is put together, but I'm not planning to do that today. This all enclosure looks very similar to Ender 3. Power supply's obviously been moved from the side at the rear down to the back, which makes the whole base look really nice and tidy. And then they've added this drawer. I don't know quite why, but I think it's kind of good that it's there. I guess you can put things in it. I mean, if this is your only printer, then it kind of makes sense to have some place to keep your tools and things. But so the short one goes at the base. That'll be this way round. Hole goes on the inside. That goes here. My favourite printer of all time. I mean, my favourite printer of the last 10 years is probably so is my favourite printer of all time. But that's a really difficult question. Wow, I don't think I can answer that. I just kind of want to say one of my own printers, but they don't win any awards for ease of use. I think for the printer that's like most reliable, I use the most the Mark 3S quite easily, runs away with that. Closely followed by the Prusa Mini. So that's those two. Now let's put this thing back on the side. Wow, I'm all over the place today. Things just being knocked off left, right and centre. Assemble this just over here. I'm pretty sure this, well, there's potential for this to need adjusting afterwards, so don't overdo it. Prusa Mark 2? No, Prusa Mark 3. I never owned really a Mark 2. I made a clone Mark 2, but I never owned an actual one. Step 1, I think, is done. Install the Z-axis motor kit and T-type screw. Okay, so that extra screw is extra. Today, for this, we need... Is that a server type house? No. Must just root. That must just be a socket. Is that? That's on the back. I guess that makes sense. So this is going down over here. Yep, you've missed everything up to this point. Precisely and exactly everything up until now. M4 by 18. So the bags are screwed. The bags are labelled. Okay, will it close? Come on. Yes, made it. So the bags are labelled, you can see, which is quite nice. The labelling is a little bit confusing. I feel like there's more letters and words on there than there really needs to be. But it's good that it's there. wearing gloves just makes everything 2 times more difficult. So what we need to do first is find that lead screw. That's right here. Touching it as little as possible. Oh my goodness. For anyone that was wondering why I was wearing gloves, you'd need to do nothing but take a look at this. It's absolutely smothered in grease. Like huge amounts of grease. Which is good that they've lubricated it. But, oh, sorry, focus is just not the best. It's, yeah, really covered. Sorry. Ooh, blimey. Nothing like a quick heart attack to get things going. Different Allen key again. That one's already tight, yeah. I'm going to leave the sheath mostly on it, I think, at the moment. And then we need a couple of these. That's strange. So that actually seems to be lifting that Z motor off of the extrusion. There is now a gap between these two. It's only very small, but I would expect it to touch just for, I don't know, reduce the loading, but I guess it doesn't really matter very much. Hi there, it's going pretty good so far. No major dramas, apart from me continually dropping things because gloves, butterfingers, and not much space. Focus. That's step 2 done. Install that motor thing. Install the pneumatic joint, XE axis kit and synchronous belt. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. Let's move this down here for a moment. Ooh, look at all this space. Ooh, little bits of sharp aluminium. Be careful when you're building yours because they go everywhere and they can cut you easily. Another good reason to wear gloves. So now we need this. We need this. We need one of these and one of these. Potentially, I've signed up for the next stage, but I don't know how active I'll be particularly. Oh, don't really need that blue clip yet. Let's leave that over there. Hexagonal, flat, round, M5, 4, whatever. Screws, yep, got those. Screws activated. Go. Then what? The open-ended wrench. Okay, we've got 2 of those. Synchronous belt. Timing belt. Oh my goodness. Would you look at that? That, ladies and gentlemen, that blur that you see on screen currently That says gates. I'm assuming that's genuine. Surely they wouldn't put gates on a belt if it wasn't a genuine gates belt. That's pretty cool. Oh, if I switch to the close-up, maybe you can see it a bit better. There you go. Gates Power Grip LL2 GT belt. This is the thing. I don't think... I know, like, you'd expect everything to be a clone, but why would they put Gates Power Grip on it with the registered trademark symbol if it wasn't an actual Gates belt? Do you reckon? I'm not sure. I've never seen Gates printed on Chinese belts before. I mean, it's not even straight, so I suppose it's all been kinked up. Yeah, you might be right, but I mean, they're working with E3D now, aren't they? They've got their genuine Titan. That was Creality, right? So maybe they are working with some real brands. What am I doing? That, and that. Tighten the tube connector by the open wrench and fix the EX. So we need to put this on here. Instructions always makes things so much more difficult than it needs to be. I would probably be a lot further on there if I were just doing this from memory. What does it say next? 2 screws in the front of the doobly-doo. That is this way round. This is then on here. And these screws are going in here. Sorta, kinda. Creality do have massive buying power. The number of printers they sell is absolutely crazy. Like, if you think Prusa sell a lot of printers, you ain't seen nothing yet. No, you ain't seen nothing. No, I won't try and sing. That's not a good idea. I mean, this assembly process is a little bit janky. I'm not sure the Allen key is going to be long enough to actually do this operation either. Oh, the other one fell out. Have they fixed the problem of the lead screw not being square to the rail? It was difficult to tell. I don't know until I get this on whether it's... It was always square to the rail, but obviously once you put this on, the nut fixes its position. There's some slop in this nut. Slop is probably not the correct term, but there's a little bit of play in this nut, whether deliberately or not, which may help the situation. Is it direct drive? No, it is a Bowden style. Ooh, it did a thing. Logan, welcome to Vector 3D. I don't really have much of a saying for thanking people for joining, but thank you very much for subscribing. Very much appreciated. Can I get in? Try and use the... Right, I'm fairly happy with how straight that is. Or am I? Maybe I'm not. Oh, more things buzzing now. Technology Prem Kumar. Thank you very much for subscribing. I don't even know if these people are watching. There could be anyone on the channel. Oh, Logan was definitely watching, yeah. Right, I'm going to have to now loosen this again because that's not quite straight how I like it. Okay, I'm not going to look. I think that's probably good enough. Yeah, I don't think Creality would try to imitate other products' brands. Copying the dimensions and remaking a belt is one thing. Putting somebody else's registered trademark on it, that's a whole different ballgame. I don't think they would do that. Despite them probably having teams of 100 lawyers. It's probably not that many, but they probably have a team of lawyers. I don't think they would be daft enough to attempt that. That would be quite the stunt. Step 3, done. Install extrusion kit, Z-axis passive block. No, I haven't done that. I haven't installed the timing belt, but I'm not sure how much installing I can do. You can basically put it over here and put it back and you can't attach it to anything. And I can't even do that. Ah, come on. Why do I have two keyboards? I don't have two keyboards. I have one keyboard, one laptop and one screen. I have a computer down at the bottom. The laptop is not running the stream. The laptop's just allowing me to monitor the stream and do other things at other times. Extruder head. Well, it's all attached to this. Why does it ask you to just get... You can't just get the extruder head. It's all attached. It's attached. You can't just remove it. Right. I've got you back now. Interesting, hey? So... Let's go close up again. So in the back of the carriage, come on camera, it's normally really good. I think it's because I'm wearing blue gloves, it gets a bit confused about what it's meant to be focusing on. So when it decides to focus, cool, I've just moved it back a bit. In here, you can see they cut out a hole to see the heatsink. So presumably they've done some testing, which in itself seems mildly remarkable. And presumably by having this hole at the back, it allows the fan at the front to cool the heatsink more effectively, which presumably would reduce jams and any, forget the term, haven't used it in a long while. You know, when the, oh my goodness, how have I forgotten the term for this? Not heat soak. Goodness me. Heat creep, that's the one. Because over time you can get heat tend to creep from the block up through the heat break into the cold end. And if the cold end gets hot, then it melts the filament too early, or at least softens it and it expands. Thank you everyone reminding me of heat creep. Yes, I really should have known that. So yeah, that's quite cool. Otherwise, it looks largely the same. They've put this nice plastic shroud on it, which makes it look a little bit more professional. But performance-wise, I don't think that'll have any significant effect. If anything, it may reduce the effectiveness of the fans because they're covered up by lots and lots of plastic. So I think we just slide this doobly on. Doobly doobly doo. Seems like the wheels might be already set for the correct thickness, which is nice. Oh, okay. This is why they asked you to do this, because you can't move this past the belt. So you have to put the belt down in here first, like it told me to do, and then slide this doobly-doo over the top. And then underneath, there's these little areas where you slide the belt under here and into that slot. I probably don't want to do this yet because I've not got the idler on. Probably do that end, but not this end. Let's take this one back out again. So now we need to install this other plate. So this plate's going to be mounting everything to the other axis. Let's make sure we get it up the correct way, which I believe this is. Which way are we screwing in? From the back. So they threaded the aluminium. Not super fan of that. There has been a steady increase in viewership, which is quite nice. Up to 50 people now. There has been 336 playbacks, which means a lot of people just decided to leave, but never mind. Anyone that's enjoying the stream so far, please go ahead and like it if you've enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more of these sorts of things. I do have another printer already here in its box sitting over the other side of the desk to do an unboxing live stream of. Obviously, we're not doing two today, and it's not going to be tomorrow either. But in the near future, potentially next week, but that may be difficult, we'll be doing another one. We might do one midweek, depending on how things go. Drill holes with a hammer. Yep. That's that. Hexagon socket, flat round, doobly doobly doo. Oh, it does say to put this in now. Okay, that's strange. Strange, but okay. I'll do as you say. Aye, aye, sir. Right away, sir. Cool. Next. Next we have this idler tensioner. Tensioning is a really odd phenomenon. I don't think a lot of people tend to account for the fact that tensioning is, in a manner of speaking, stretching the belt. As you stretch the belt, you change the dimensions which you're basically printing or what's been calibrated. So if you over tension, you over lengthen the belt and everything prints larger than it should be. It looks like I have to disassemble this entire bloomin' assembly to get the bloomin' belt on when I could just put it through the bloomin' hole. Why? I'm just going to put it through the hole. This is remarkable. And that's also remarkably greasy. Oh, I've forgotten which way around this went. Ah, shucks. That way? That way? That way? Must have been this way, because this way kind of works. Oh, no, it doesn't. There we go. Oh, I see what I've done here. I've put it in the screw before it told me to, and I shouldn't have done. Very, very silly. I did the instructions from the last Creality printer instead of just doing what it told me. Even when I've got instructions, I still struggle to do exactly as it says. Or is this still wrong? This is probably still wrong. No, I think that's right. And then you need... You've got to be careful for anyone that's also getting this, not to over tighten these screws because they're screwing. I don't think this one's going to work. The other screw's way too long. Surely. Okay, just about made it. I think I might have been in the middle of saying something. I forgot what I was saying. Cool, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty wonky, damn it. Daisy. Okay, nice. So we've got that assembly looking pretty neato now. Boobity 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 boo. Right. Tensioner block. Those. Nice. Install the Z-axis moving kit and adjust the tightness of X-axis and Y-axis tensioners. Take the fifth step, assembled components. Take the second step, assembled components. Back, front, doobly-doo. Right. So this is going on here. Let's get this back in over here. Maybe move this up a bit. Not sure you're going to be able to see much at this stage on that wide camera. That's, in fact, probably worth just going back to here. Hello everyone. I think this way. Oh, let's take the sleeve off of this goopy loopy. This is the bit where I even the gloves are getting exceptionally greasy. I should have done it from this thing at the bottom, shouldn't I? Looks like they've even set the tension on the wheels pretty well actually this time. They look like they don't even need adjusting. That's quite good. I'm going to just switch gloves. Wow, these are... Should have been more careful with those. In fact, we might be able to get away without them now. We've still got a bit more assembly to do. Looks like I've missed some questions. Sorry about that. What filament do I recommend for Prusa Mini? What do you mean? What type or brand? I don't really favourite brands for filaments. Many of them are much of a muchness. Kind of the reason I don't do filament testing. I don't think there's one PETG and one PLA is very similar to the next from my experience. But it prints PETG pretty well. It can be a little bit stringy, but that's more just how PETG generally is, especially if you don't dry it. But it'll print most things, so whatever you like, really. Well, with the beds. Okay, concentrate. Tips: manually rotate the X and Y axis tensioners to be the appropriate tightness. Refer to A. Nut flush with screw. Refer to B. The difference between the nut and the screw protrusion is 2 to 3 millimeters. So, I think for what I'm listening for is for it to be not too, you don't want it to have a really guitar strummy sort of sound. That's too tight. But also it needs to have some kind of tension on it. At the end of this lighting, under the desk will be dirty, gloves, trash paper, cardboard, and other that you have to clean up afterwards. Yep, pretty much. I just chuck everything down there, but there is a bin back there, so that's why I chuck a lot of stuff in that direction. So it's just kind of lift up all the rubbish straight into the bin. It does... I don't know. We shall check in a bit when I get it turned on. I think we're getting there now. It's only been 1 hour. That's not too bad. Make the Z-axis moving kit. Insert the 2 ends of the Z-axis profile along V-wheel. Install the gantry profile kit. So that's going to be this little profile going up the top with some of these fat screws. It's nice that they give you extra screws. It seems like every time you need 4, they give you 5. Obviously, they don't want any situation where you have 1 less than you need. So in the event that someone does have 1 less than the 5 that they try to give you, you still have 4, which is enough. I think that's probably their reasoning behind it. So when you do have a mistake, it's still not a major problem. Let's get the right screw thing. I do quite like the amount of assembly on the Ender 3. It's like, it's enough to get you interested. I mean, obviously I've done printing for a while. It's not making me more interested, but I think for new starters, it's better than having something that's totally pre-built, because it gives you a little bit of a look at the components and gives you a slightly better understanding of kind of what's going on. I think this kind of level is just about enough to give you some understanding. Right, let's turn this around. The screen, I think, goes on down over here. The nuts are strangely partly pre-assembled on this, which is slightly curious. Yeah, I think it is very similar to the old Ender 3, to be honest. That's probably why it looks very similar. I think the differences you see are in the control board. So it's basically like, I mean, the main changes for me that I'm really interested in if you want to know what I think, is the tensioners. Having control of tensioning the belts is nice. The 32-bit control board, at least I'm pretty sure it is, with 2208 stepper drivers will make it nice and silent. That's an upgrade I've done on. Doing this without looking at it's really difficult. 32-bit board is an upgrade I've done on both of my other Ender 3s. And, oh, it's the wrong size, that's why. And I think is one that's definitely worth doing. It just massively reduces the noise and makes the screen generally more responsive. You've just got a little bit more computational power to do that stuff that the screen, that the control board powers. So you have a mildly detachable screen. Okay, sure, why not? Ooh. Do people want to see this? The old screen peel. Nice. Fix the profile on the upper end gantry with 4 screws. First connect the display screen kit, then use the hexagon wrench to lock the 4 screws on the side. I think I've done that. Cool. Material rack. The material rack. Let's fit the material rack. I think that means filament holder, but I love that they call it material rack. That makes it sound so much cooler. Right, let's fit the material rack. I think one of the screws that I might have thrown away earlier I actually need. No. You fool. Okay. Am I just being blind? Stupid, or both? M5x8 screw. No, it's definitely not that. Oh, they were silver coloured. Aha! I knocked them on the floor. Here they are. Oh, is it an 8-bit board with 2208s? Kind of need to check that out. I'm sure it'd be 32-bit. Surely, 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 surely. Surely they went 32-bit. I'm pretty sure it's cheaper now to go 32-bit. So to get this on here, oh my goodness. Slippery gloves. Come on. Can't hold a thing with these gloves. I think I might take them off. No, let's keep going. As soon as I take them off, I'll regret doing it. I know it. So this we typically fit over this side. In fact, I often fit it on the edge here because I don't often use the full Z height, and it feeds into the extruder better, especially on the old Ender 3s, like you can see behind me over here, where there's an issue with the extruder because it doesn't have the brass part that this one does. It cuts away the plastic and then eventually jams. But yeah, like this works well. 32-bit 2560 chip. I feel like I really need to take the bottom off to find out what board this is. We're having a slight detour, everyone. We're going off, away from the textbook. If we can find the right blooming tools. None of these tools are the right tools. We need to find out what the, if it's a 32-bit control board and what the controller chip is. I'm sure it's going to be an ARM 32-bit board, but we shall find out here. These screws are done up exceptionally tight. I think I'm going to take off the gloves now. And just try not to touch the wrong things. They're getting too slippery. This little cable management slot there for the cables, fairly nice. Let's get this up over here. Can't believe I said I was not going to do this. I obviously forgot myself for a minute there. Whoa! Okay, so there's a nice cable mess. What is it? What is it? What are you? Huh? Can't even see a control chip. Oh, here it is. Can't see a darn thing. It's an ARM STM 32F103. So that'll be a 32-bit board, I'm pretty sure, right? It'd be an Atmega 2560 if it was, or the other one, the half of 2561. 1284 is that? This is always impossible to get in, this screw. Oh, it's even more impossible when you don't have it in the right place. Just with all the other bits in first. Oh no. Yes, I agree, it was a bit of a rat's nest, wasn't it? All the cables are looking a little bit long in that. Not sure that fan's going to get much of an opportunity to do a whole lot. But as long as things don't overheat, I don't mind too much. Right, cool. So that's our slight detour complete. Nice to know exactly what we've got in there. It's probably not the most competent 32-bit chip. I wouldn't expect it to be super powerful, but 32-bit is still going to be better than 8, I'm sure. It won't produce better print quality, but it will be almost certainly quieter when teamed with those stepper drivers. And also, notably, oh my goodness, I think this screw's a bit broken. This thing just jumps straight out. the hex is not properly formed in the screw, so it doesn't work properly. That's good enough. Do you think it's worth it to pay $100 extra for a couple of features that you can get for $25 and some print time? $100 extra compared to what? Because if you're comparing to Ender 3, you can't get 32-bit control board on an Ender 3 just by printing an upgrade. I mean, some people do just want to print. So if you're one of the people that doesn't necessarily want to faff around with modifying a printer, maybe if you're buying 100 of them, you just want to get them set up and get them making. I mean, if you're buying 100, I'm not sure where you'd buy kits, but anyway. I think there's still application for this printer, regardless of like how else you could achieve similar results. I'm just completely ignoring the manual now. I'm just plugging things in. Let's work on the manual. This goes on here. That 2020 profile covers. I do like it that they provide these. It stops you having any potential issues to cut yourself on these top corner profiles, because they can be a little bit vicious. I'm not sure what that's really looking at. Yeah, if you need to print, if you need to just print Prusa Mark 3 or Minis, definitely would be my suggestion. But these are cheaper, so hex the indication knob. This could be kind of useful maybe, or it'll just get in the way, I'm not too sure. Cool. That's that, that's that, that's those. Or have I just skipped a step? 8. No, they're just really thick pages. Power cable, sleeve, plug, power. Make sure that thing is set to 240. Oh, now I've got grease all over my hands. Damn it! I knew I should have kept the gloves on. Oh. Oh yes, I know what I was doing. $230 volts. Z motor, the blue clip. Where does it want me to put the blue clip? Presumably on here. Stop any movement here. Insert the Teflon tube. Done that. Did that a while ago. These need to go in. So cables are all nicely labelled, which is always really useful, especially for when they're all like this and they're all black and all identical. And then you've got end stop switch in there. Wow, that's not easy to reach, is it? Cool. I mean, there's no obvious way to clip or manage them still, so that's a little disappointing. I would have liked to see something, but they do provide some cable ties. It just seems to be free for all, do what you like with them. So I'm going to put one around here to keep this sleeve. Ow! Oh, okay. Is it... Right, I guess we need to plug everything in now. Obviously it didn't come with a power cable, so I've prepared one I made earlier. Well, I didn't make it, obviously, but it's a power cable. Darn it. Also, it's nice, I mean, $50 difference is still obviously a fair bit to pay if you're considering them equal components. But obviously your time's obviously always a factor. It's also good to think that if you're buying this, it's not... If you buy an Ender 3 and immediately buy the upgrades, you're just taking 3 parts of it that are probably just going to be thrown straight in the bin. Ecologically, that's not particularly great, is it? To buy something, not even use it, and throw it in the bin. I mean, you could argue you might use it for something else, but I'm sure many people never would or even try. These are really easy. I think I'd probably prefer some tighter springs. They seem... Bed looks like it could be. I think the bed wheels need a bit of... where's the tensioning one? Ooh! Oh, they did have 4 wheels before. I could have sworn they used to have 3 wheels. Didn't the Ender 3s normally have 3 wheels? I mean, that one doesn't, so that was the original. No, that's the Pro. Where's my Ender 3 standard? Over there, can't see it. There we go, that's a bit better. Right, I need a drink before we turn this on. V2 does also give you this cool looking shroud though. And this knob, which you could print, which doesn't really fit very well either. It's disappointingly loose. So that'll rattle when you print. I'm sure we'll discover that in just a moment. There also seems to be a bit of wobble. That could be the desk though. Right, let's get this zoomed in down here. And engage. No really loud fans, that's a good start. Let's take this doobly-doo off the bed. How are you supposed to? Just going to take it off. Well, they're not exactly easy to put on, are they? Ooh. I can definitely see myself accidentally scratching through the The coating on the underside though, that's a little bit lethal, isn't it? Right. I can't really see that screen particularly well. It's not a touch screen. It's a clicky willy screen. Yeah, the flat wound ones are on the CR6 SE, aren't they? So, what does it say to do? I think it says do some bed levelling first. Prepare. Oh, it's really difficult to see what's selected. It's so much smoother than the standard marling configuration though. Prepare. Auto home. What's the probability of this smashing straight into the bed? It's definitely not particularly fast homing, is it? Cool. Then disable steppers. So they actually tell you to disable steppers and just do it by hand, which does kind of make sense, I suppose. This pizza paper is within reach. It doesn't tell you to do it, or is it? Preheat temperature. I'm going to preheat it and then we'll just do it PLA, that'll be better than nothing. I'll get some other paper as well, a smaller piece of paper, and some filament, because we need filament, because otherwise we can't print anything. What are we going to print in today? Those empty boxes, I don't think we're going to print empty boxes. We got some interesting PLA. Yes, we do. So we're going to be printing with the old Mystic Green dual colour thing, and we are also going to print a benchy actually. I got one sort of pre-sliced using my current Ender 3 profile, which presumably will be rather similar. I didn't get any paper. I have some pre-configured calibration paper. I make that joke every single time, I think. Oh, let's use one piece though, not two. Wrong way. Okay, I think that's going to be good enough. No USB-C on the control board yet. That'll be the day, won't it? Let's use this micro SD card, but I'm not going to use that reader because they're pants. So this is a not full size benchy. This is a 60% size benchy, so around 37 minutes on this profile. It's quite a slow and conservative profile. How much filament rolls do you go through? Not very much, to be honest. This is the thing with doing a YouTube channel. People get the impression that you're printing constantly, and I'm just not. Most of the time I'm making videos. Like I normally print stuff for that video, but the video production and editing and planning takes way more time than the actual printing. So, yeah, not that much, to be honest. I mean, when it was like during peak COVID and well, I was probably printing 15 of those face shields a day per printer. Hang on, no, that doesn't sound right. 20 a day total, I think. And 20 times the 50 grams each is about a kilo. So that was about a kilo a day. But at the moment, like, not very much at all. I'm not going to do all of that now. It's 9 p.m. There will be some more calibration and testing stuff on the channel later in the year, though. You can be fairly sure of that. Oh. Let's have a quick look at the menus. So we've got the print menu, which allows you to select things. That is fairly normal. Control temperature motion, so that you can set custom nozzle temperatures, fan, or you can change the PLA preheat settings. That I really like that. That's cool. For ABS as well. So you could probably set the ABS ones for PETG temperatures if that's what you're more likely to be printing. I mean, I don't know how many people print ABS anymore. Storage configuration. Ooh. Read configuration, reset configuration. Okay. I think that's EEPROM about. This is what it's talking about, really. It's actually auto home, preheat, cool down, why is language in? That's odd. Okay, so it's obviously using Marlin related stuff. Ian Darrington, thank you for subscribing. And you got some extra details in there. It's quite a basic menu system, really. It looks like it should work just fine. So there's no preview of the print as such, but you can modify. Oh, they've got live Z adjust, do like that. So if you need to move it up, down very slightly, then that's how you can do that after the print starts without having to adjust, like trying to move all the knobs at the same time. Printing speed, nozzle temperature, bed temperature, Z offset. Language, again. Pause, stop. You've got time remaining as well. That's really nice to see. Oh, I somehow just, oops, I oopsied there. I kicked the plug out of the socket. Let's, oh, well, that's not good. I've gone and broked it already. I have tried 3D prints filament, yes. It's good. It's reasonably cheap, reasonably good. Like, no issues with it at all, really. Yeah, I know this. Yeah, I've heard about the forum community that like to print ABS. Looks like there's some threaded screws here for adding for like a BL Touch or something. Why aren't any of the printers behind you ever running? Because it would be noisy, and I want to be peaceful and quiet. And it's also very warm because of the lights, so I don't want more heated beds and stuff running as well. If I had these tables that they're all sitting on, are all the IKEA stuff, so they're the board inside them also, it's not solid. They use their like foam hexagonal cardboard structures inside, so printing on them is actually really noisy. Again, which is why they're not running. And as I mentioned, I'm just not printing all that often. If I do, I didn't. Oh, I've just realised I've not loaded the filament. What a fool. Oh my days. Okay, I'm an idiot. Stop, 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 stop. Take this stupid thing off. Just like trying to print with no filament. What a genius! Why isn't this going in? What the hell? This just doesn't go in. Looks like there's not even a hole. Hang on a second. Okay, there is a hole, so why can't I get it in? Looks like everything's just not very aligned here. Oh, I guess we'll do this wheel thing. Maybe this will help. No, the insert just slips. Well, this is bizarre. I've not had this problem before. And we're in. Some alignment issues there. Might have to pull that apart and put it back together, hopefully with some better alignment, because otherwise that'll get a little bit frustrating, I think. Okie dokie, let's try again. Hopefully the prime during preheat and stuff will be enough. I'll probably push it out a little bit manually. When the Prusa Mini was brand new, I did run that during live streams as a second screen. I could probably, but I don't want to just print stuff that I don't need printing. And I don't think you'd be able to see much anyway, would you? Like, most of them are blocked most of the time. I'll see what I can do. It looks like it's just going to prime itself. So this is a 60% scale benchy with a couple of the bottom layers removed, because I'm sure you're aware it has that text right at the bottom, and that can just be a pain on the first layer. So I've just cut those couple of bottom layers off. It's like 1 millimeter or something off the bottom, so it doesn't have to do that text, so the bottom layer can be nice and smooth. I'm not really trying to test the printer too much here, just to validate that it works. This insert was slipping as well when I was trying to tighten this, so I'm not sure how useful this is going to be. It really needs like a grub screw or something that you can tighten into it to lock it down. So there's quite a bit of power supply noise, which is a bit unfortunate. That's definitely the loudest thing here. The stepper driver, steppers are quiet. The motion's quiet. Even the hot end fan is reasonably quiet. Actually, it's reasonably noisy. But the power supply fan is absolutely rattling. Oh, you just can't win these days, can you? You get most of the stuff right. Bye bye, Logan. Thank you for staying. Better than 3D printing though? I don't think so. Thank you for saying, that's very kind. Has it got thermal runaway? I don't know. I think I'll probably be doing a full review on this printer, so that will be this kind of thing that I test for that. So if you want to find out, then just don't miss the review. It's nearly always, well, it is one of the things that I do test. Thermal runaway, max temp, min temp, all get tested as part of the review, so we'll find out soon enough. Hope these notes help. Have a fine day. I'm off to get some coffee and work on finishing up the release of Marlin. Wonderful, Scott. Get that. I've been reading about that Marlin release. Looking forward to seeing it. Do you 3D print in your job, or are you an engineer? I am an engineer. I do not, well, I mean technically, so Vector3G, the YouTube channel, is a business which I technically work for. So yes, 3D printing is my business, but I'm also an engineer. So yes to all the above. Oh, it's the other person you were saying bye to. Oops. My real life job is engineering design. The fact that the hot end fan is quiet is a bit concerning, considering that Creality hot ends have terrible thick and heavy fins. So I want to take all the blowing action you can get. Yeah, I mean, I think the hot end fan sounds quiet because the power supply fan is so noisy. Doesn't the Ender 3... No, the Pro has a fan. They both have fans, I think, don't they? I want to get back to passive power supplies. It's only like 200 watts. We should be able to manage passive power supplies. No, noisy means inefficient, because noise is a byproduct. Unless the noise had a purpose as well, in which case you could count it as being more efficient. Ooh, man. Don't look now, but that's looking pretty smooth. Not sure quite what it's supposed to do with all these zip ties. And there's a thing here. An acupuncture needle, which may not be an acupuncture needle, but gets called an acupuncture needle. It's a needle with like a sharp end. Needles. Not sure quite what these are supposed to be for, presumably managing the cables, but they give absolutely no guidance on where to put them. So I've not put them on anywhere. I'm just noticing that this cable is remarkably close to that moving carriage. That really needs something to hold it down, I think. It's not going to be easy for me to show. I'm not going to try and show you. Hopefully we won't lose power. Oh, caught the thing. So in here, yeah, you can see that. This cable, can you? This with more noises. This cable just kind of sits up here, and it's right by the bed leveling knob for that axis, for that point. Not ideal, not ideal at all. The bed takes 5 minutes to heat up. That means they've bumped up from 200 to 350 watt power supply. It is really horrible. Other than that, I mean, I know you can't see the print quality particularly well, and even on the, oh, use the right mouse. I've got 2 mice as well as 2 keyboards, so I keep grabbing the wrong one. There we go, that's the money shot. So, I mean, even on that view, you probably can't see it too great just because of the angle. But I can tell you right now, it's looking, what should I say, better than average. Or better than the one we looked at in the last live stream by quite a long way. Good afternoon. My name's Adam, by the way, but hi. Oh. That rhyming review is quite the controversial video for some reason. YouTube now doesn't want to promote it because it thinks the thumbnail's clickbait or something, when it's just not. So it has really good CTR, click-through rate. So when people see it, they often click on it, they're interested to watch it. But YouTube has just stopped recommending it to people because reasons. Thanks. I'm probably not going to do many more rhyming reviews. I think I only made that one rhyming because I was going a little bit mad in lockdown and needed something to take my mind off of it. In general, I think the problem with the rhyming thing is it does detract somewhat from the technical aspects of the review. When people are looking for a review, they're looking for some quite detailed either technical stuff or user information, and they don't really just want a poem. So yeah, it's kind of fun and it's kind of a nice video to make, but at the end of the day, people looking for a review are not the same people that are looking for a rhyme. And it was probably not a wise video to do it on. I think if I'd done a proper review video for the Mini, it probably would have got like 5 times as many views. If anyone has any questions, keep going, keep pushing them out. Now's a great time while we're waiting for this print to run through. I mean, it's supposed to have 37 minutes remaining from the start. It says it's been going 10 minutes and still has 37 minutes to go. So that's a bit interesting. Yeah, passive. If you look at computer power supplies, PCs, computers, you know, those ATX power supplies and ITX, what's the small form factor for power supplies that Silverstone make? They make some like really small, like 700 watt, totally passive power supplies. It's easily possible. They are quite expensive, but it's easily possible to do. I mean, this is a couple of 100 watts. It shouldn't be that difficult, surely. But obviously they're trying to get as cheap as possible. So kind of understandable, but also kind of unfortunate. How's your Prusa clone treating you? So, for anyone that doesn't know, I made this Prusa clone. Can you see it up in the background? Sort of just over in this back corner. You probably can't, it's all in the small view. So there are some good things and there are some bad things. The good thing is the print quality was fine. The bed worked fine. The control board worked fine. The screen worked fine. But where my frame is slightly different and has some kind of sharp edges on the back, and maybe the cable management was not perfect, I did have some issues there. The spiral wrap that I had on it up until recently kept catching at the back of the frame. So when I was printing the face mask things and just churning out these 24/7, that's when you really start to notice issues, and I did. It kept catching, and so the bed cable would end up getting like caught under the bed, and yeah, that was bad. Damaged the wires, so I stopped printing with that straight away. I've since repaired it and sorted out the cable management to have much more similar to this kind of plastic, what do you call it? Cable managing stuff. So it should be a bit more abrasive and it shouldn't catch, so I need to do some more printing and see if it's any better. But it is also really noisy because it's the old 8-bit control board. It's the Mark II, the Prusa Mark II control board, the Rambo from Alton Machine. So yeah, that's everything about that. Not perfect. Clones never are, really. As much as effort as you put into them, they're still never quite right. Building a Railcore or Voron 3D printer one day. Maybe, I mean, I did have maybe I'd get a little bit close to getting a Railcore a little while back, but I mean, if I can get a kit for it and someone wants to supply that, then I'll happily build it and do live streams and stuff, but these are just, it's so much easier for me to do these like 200, 300 pound printers because my channel's not enormous, so getting people to provide stuff is just not that trivial. Quitting your job, I mean, I don't really have a job. I work for myself, so I mean, I sort of have a job, I suppose, but I'm a contractor. I do 3D printing. I don't know. I'm doing fine as I am. I don't really need to change too much. This works for me. Thank you for staying, Microtech. Glad you enjoyed it. Well, before you go, I can report the print quality is looking good. There you go. There's your summary for the day. I'd quite like to, in terms of printers, I think I mentioned this towards the end of most streams, like, I'd really quite like to get a tool changer or the Craftbot, one of the Craftbot Flow series, Raise 3D machine. They're all like nice. The capability that I'm missing at the moment is high temperature, like proper chamber without, I mean, I don't mean like really high temperature, I mean reliable ASA or ABS printing temperature. Just some decent enclosure that can maybe get to like 60, 80 degrees Celsius or something. I don't really, excuse me, I do apologise. I don't have much capability for that at the moment, which is a little unfortunate. But yeah, what can I say? Can't have everything. I've not tested the Hemira a whole lot yet. I've done some printing on it. It's part of the Formbot Raptor upgrade series. It's on that machine, so as that project progresses, you'll see a little bit more of it. As a hot end and extruder combo, you have to remember it is both. I'd say it's still good from what I've used so far. It's only £100, and if you look at things like Mosquito and BMG, the Bondtech stuff, man, your prices just shoot up so high, it's absolutely crazy. You get a Bondtech extruder and a Mosquito hot end, and you're looking at like £350 or something crazy. 300 quid, something like that. It's just a lot of money. So the Hemira is £100. You get the extruder and the hot ends all in one package, and it has great TPU capability because of that short zone between the gears and the hot end. And if you wanted to upgrade to higher flow with Volcano or even Super Volcano, then you can do that as well, and it's still cheaper. So it's weird, but E3D do seem to be filling in the budget end of hot ends now. They were like a little while back, they were like very cream of the crop, and obviously what they're producing is really high quality. There's no doubt there. But they've not gone into, although I should say they're not like really pushing hard the really expensive super materials like all the tungsten carbide and all this kind of stuff. They're just doing like the simple thing as well as they can, really well made and really affordable for like anyone. I mean, it's not cheap, it's not like clone price, but it's still really good value. Isn't the Voron like mostly 3D printed? I'd have to 3D print all the parts, and then you have to rely on other people's design skills, and that can be frustrating at times. I might consider it, but that means printing loads of ABS, which means I need a printer with an enclosure if they insist on having it all made out of ABS, which if it sounds like they have quite a passionate community, so I imagine that could attract a bit of attention. But it's all like DIY again, isn't it? Yeah, I can't justify spending $1,500 for the sake of a video, really. I mean, I sort of can, but sort of can't. I need to have it for a purpose and try and produce something from it. Yeah, that insulation, that Kingspan stuff is the sort of thing. The trouble is, doing enclosures properly is just not that simple. I know you can just put a box over it and continue printing, but it's just not good for the electronics. And you can't, obviously it affects your hot end cooling performance because you're then trying to cool it with hot air. I mean, it's probably getting some reasonably hot air off the bed anyway, to be fair. But I don't know. I kind of want something that's just properly designed to be a hot chamber whilst avoiding the stratus painted. I might look at trying to get that Kingspan stuff though. Even if I don't use it in the exactly the way you said and like taping it together, I might use it for something else. What inspired me to start my channel? Ooh, I can't really remember. When I started the channel, it was all computer related things. It wasn't 3D printing at all. But then I bought a 3D printer and got really addicted and then couldn't stop. So I think I've deleted all the computer related videos from my channel now. But yeah, that's what I used to do. I just thought it would be fun. Excuse me, really tired. Boom. Thank you for the insulation recommendations. Those are perfect. I've never bought insulation even for engineering purposes or non-engineering purposes, so knowing where to get the right stuff is difficult. A lot of the other engineering stuff I know where to go, but that not bought before. I feel like sticking it to an extrusion-based box, moving electronics to the outside and then printing, but then it becomes a lot of work and yeah, it gets difficult and it's not necessarily the direction I want to be using on the channel at the moment. I don't know, so much confusion. So how is it going? Oh man, at 9:30 I'm always going to be tired. I work every day of the week. The build's going well. I mean, the build is done. The print is going remarkably well. I shan't comment on it too much at the moment, but things are looking optimistic. This is an Ender 3 profile that I've had for a while, so this is probably, compared to other live streams where I just immediately print, this is probably more optimal settings than you would normally get on a straight out of the box printer, but does give a good representation, I think, of what the printer is capable of, so it's good from that perspective. Are you finding the V2 to be less versatile than the Ender 3 Pro? What do you mean by versatile? I mean, for printing purposes, it's basically the same printer, isn't it? Sounds like something I would need to have an opinion on over... Wow, why am I yawning so much? I'm so sorry. Over a longer period of time. It's easy to do like a one print and see what it looks like, but you really get a much better feeling for how reliable and useful a printer is when you try and print on it like every day or every other day, when you're kind of frustrated and you've been working all day and you just want to print something. That printer that you go to and works first time will be a good print, or is the good printer. The ones when you're tired and frustrated and you immediately avoid, you know in the back of your mind that those are not the ones that you've had the best results from. I think you might be confused between the CR6 SE and the Ender 3 V2. This doesn't have that proby thing that the CR6 SE does. This is just manual leveling, same as the standard Ender 3. Have you ever got your hands on a genuine Triangle Lab Dragon hot end? So Triangle Labs don't manufacture, they're just resellers. They're produced by Runnis. Runnis owns Fetus. Fetus sells the hot end, and I believe Triangle Labs buys them from either Runnis or Fetus. I got two like a year ago from Fetus at an exhibition. So yes, I have two. And I believe I was the first one to get any, so yes. I have, like, before they even had packaging or anything, got two of those. I have the high flow version in a light blue and the standard flow version in black. I don't know where they are at the moment. Well, actually I do. The high flow version is on the extrudinator and has been for quite a long time. I do want to print PEEK. That's carbon fibre PEEK is like pinnacle awesome material. Things you have to take off and literally throw in a box and then either print an upgrade or buy from AliExpress. How much throw in the bin stuff is there? None. I mean, wow. I've just noticed they have caution hot stickers on all the motors, and they are not joking. Holy Batman on a bicycle. They've set those currents high. Woo! I wonder if they just don't know how to change them. Shoot. Those are stonking hot. Every single one. Wow. What about Z? Even Z is baking. Man alive. I'm sure that could do with some tweaking. That seems slightly excessive. I've not seen the spider hot end, no. A genuine dragon compared to the clone dragon. There is no genuine and clone dragon. The dragon is the dragon is the dragon. It's all the same hot end. The clone versus genuine argument is whether it's a clone of a combination of the Ender 3 V6 and the Slice Engineering Mosquito, or whether it's its own product incorporating elements from those, or maybe Creality hot ends which have similar screws that go up to the cold zone. All dragons is a dragon is a dragon is a dragon. I do plan on doing a review for them, the dragon hot ends. I don't know when though. This Formbot project was supposed to be like 5 videos, and at the moment it looks like it's more going to be like 12 or something. So yeah, it's going on a little bit longer than expected. I do want to do a review. I actually think I promised a review. I do definitely need to do one, but it's not yet. When I get a better grip on video churn out, because this year obviously you had the bumpy start with COVID and all that kind of stuff, and then even before that my reliability of posting videos was pretty bad. So I'm trying to make sure, top priority for me this year is to make sure I hit a video on my upload day, 5 o'clock Wednesday, 5 o'clock BST that is, or switching to GMT, confusing everyone, 5 PM every Wednesday. That's target number 1. In order to achieve that, I need to try and get some backlog of maybe 2-3 videos would be great, so that if I get ill for a week or just feel like shit or something, then I've still got something I can upload. So once I get that, that gives me some free time to kind of play, as it were. And that gives me so much more flexibility on what I can do. If I'm still chasing uploads like every single week and just getting it finished in time, everything's always a panic and I never get the freedom to push forward. So my video schedule is getting better, and I'm definitely moving to that point where I can get extra videos in. But as soon as like this lockdown thing's all coming out, everyone wants to socialise, so you end up spending weekends with other people, and then I don't get time to work on the videos because I'm working during the week, and then it all just becomes confusing. So yes, 1,000 excuses not to do things, as always. No, it's not. The genuine dragon is one with a detachable groove mount, and that people find to be of higher quality because Triangleizer is a more reliable supplier of clones. The dragon where groove mount is not detachable is a clone. Is there a dragon where the groove mount is not detachable? I didn't know there was a dragon that there was a groove mount that's not detachable. Sorry. But who on earth is cloning a that's just mental. Because the dragon's really sort of a clone in the first place of the Slice, combined with the geometry of the V6. So someone's cloning that by removing the part that makes it kind of useful for high performance hot ends. Well, okay. I probably won't be reviewing the difference between those, no. I do want to do a review of the Dragon hot end, the proper one. Have I tried fabric printing? Oh, the kind of printing onto fabric to make this kind of flexible weird shapes. I have not tried it. I don't particularly plan to. It's not really my thing. I tend to do more engineering functional prints rather than things that look nice. I mean, I try to make things that look nice as well, but not like primarily aesthetic things. Engineering related stuff is much more my ballgame. No, like fabric. I've not actually printed fabric, no. No, the one that so that video that I made where I compared the dragon to the slice was the one from Fetus, who are primarily linked to Runnis, who I believe are the primary manufacturer of that hot end, which gets sold by other people. It looks like it doesn't have a detachable top because you just can't really see it. It's all like embedded with screws and stuff, but both of the ones I have detachable tops. Yes. Okay, let's let's try and clear this up. Fortunately, I keep all my stuff rather organised. So, this is the Dragon hot end. If it's going to focus, it's the Dragon hot end. I mean, it's the Dragon hot end anyway. So there you have it. That is the Dragon hot end. That branding is Fetus. That branding, where I got a plaster on my thumb finger, is Fetus. That little A with an E, that is the Fetus design. So this is also their hardened steel nozzle. So again, Fetus branding on the nozzle, slightly different shape to the E3D, but it's like same style dimensions. This internal stuff is the bit that looks similar to Slice. It's basically exactly the same, whereas the block and outside kind of geometry matches the E3D V6. Again, the groove mount at the top matches the V6, but there are screws up in here, one that side and one that side, that allow you to detach the top and mount it just as you would a Mosquito. If I have the right things. So there you go. I've never actually taken the top of this one before, but that is the Fetus branding, and on the end there, this is an early prototype, early production rather. You can see it says Dragon hot end. It's actually just etched onto the top. So that's obviously the groove mount which attaches to it. Goes on there. There you go. That's that whole story. So there you go. Now you know. That is the Dragon hot end. The real Dragon hot end. It's funny because they didn't call it the Dragon at all, even though it's actually written on it. Can you show how the... Oh, I've missed a whole load of... Have you tried hips and limonene? I've not tried hips and limonene. I've got a carbon fibre filled hips filament, which I did try, but I've not tried it as a soluble support material, no. There's so many things I want to try, and for some reason I struggle to find the time. This is why I need a bit more backlog so I can play with things a bit more. Torchvert, thank you for subscribing. Can you show how the screws mount into the heat block? I'm not sure I totally understand the question. Have I tried a 3D pen? I do have a 3D pen. I tried to use it to kind of weld things, but it wasn't hugely successful, so I don't tend to do that. I don't really use a 3D pen much. They feel like a bit more of a toy. As I said, I'm more into printing engineering stuff. So, I mean, if I was trying to do like sculptures and stuff, then I can see 3D pen being kind of fun and good to use for that. A bit more artistic, a bit more kind of drawing onto maybe other shapes. But for me, not so much. Can I show how the screws mount into the heat block? The screws mount into the heat block down here. If the camera wants to focus, then we can look at it. But if it doesn't want to focus, we can't look at it. It's really difficult because it's such a reflective block. Hopefully you can see those screws going in there. So once they go through there, they're then going up through the block into here, and then you've got the tubes on the outside here. What's the difference between the right limonene and the wrong limonene? I mean, as far as I know, they're fairly toxic, so it's not particularly great sort of substance just to have sitting at home. I don't even have a garage, so if it even is remotely smelly, then it's not a great thing for me. Has anyone thought about using compliant devices to help with Z-wobble and imperfect lead screw alignment? Seen countless other forms of isolating XY movements and Z movement. Yeah, so obviously, I mean, I think compliant devices in terms of integrating something into here to allow for planar movement in X, Y, but not in Z, would be more of a band-aid to the problem rather than actually sorting the problem. There are much more advanced, oh, here we go. There are more advanced solutions which probably would be a better long-term solution. Ooh. What was the bench you sliced with? I used Prusa Slicer using my Ender 3 profile. It's 60% though, so when I'm zooming in and things look weird, that might be why. "3D pens take similar amount of time to make an object as the 3D printer, but the object turns out worse, and you're the one who has to draw from start to finish, human-powered 3D printer." I guess you could say that. I mean, again, if it's artistic and you need that multi-dimensional thing, or you want to draw it onto another object, then you can't do that with a 3D printer. Have you made any face masks? Oh, the Prusa one, yeah, I made 500. Let's see if we can bring this camera in. Oh, it's just going to focus nicely. But it's a bit far away, isn't it? It's nice to have a removable bed, but it would be nice if it was flexible. Cool. Spatula, let's take off that. Ooh. Yeah, it's a really blunt spatula. Oh, and it's got a sharp corner, so that's just scratched across the bed. Nice. Oh, it's not sharpened at all. It's literally just blunt. Well, that's useless, isn't it? It's no good to anyone. My fingers are sharper than that. Cool. So 39 minutes compared to the 37.5 suspected. Ooh, let's see if we can hold this up. I mean, it's a macro lens, so it should be able to focus on this eventually. There we go. Oh, loving macros. How good's that? If I had a steady hand, that would be even better. So overall, I'm really quite impressed. The stringiness is not ideal, but I think that's probably quite easily tunable with profile settings. But the overall smoothness is good. Look at the cooling on the chimney, that was basically perfect. Overhangs look fine. Overhangs are obviously a lot easier on really, really tiny things. But that's not bad at all, eh? Oh, that macro lens. As long as you don't mind looking at my fingers, it's okay. Oh, I love macro lenses. They're the best. That is pretty good, isn't it? For a first print. It's 60%, so not full size. And as I mentioned, I did cut off the bottom layers, so that hole at the back, it's normally a few layers up, is not there. It's kind of in the bottom, but it's still a benchy for the most part. I'm pretty thrilled with that. That's pretty good. That definitely lives up to the old Ender 3. Ooh, using R plus limonene works. For each cube wobbly, you roll them on a flat surface, throw them in the bin. Just buy good hardware. Unfortunately, there's no proper solution to bad hardware. Is this the Ender with the strain gauge to the probe head? No, so the one with the strain gauge sensor is the CR6 SE. I do have one of those coming. I did back it, not because I wanted to support it particularly, but because I wanted to get one to do a video on it. I think that's just the YouTuber thing to do. I spend money on these things, so you don't necessarily have to, but when it's a Kickstarter, you kind of have to as well, which is not ideal. But yeah, one of those is coming with like a nozzle pack and some other stuff I ordered with it. Don't know when that's going to be. I think maybe end of the year, before the end of the year, but I don't really know. Yeah, right, let's not talk about my fingernails, eh? I don't know. That's just what my fingernails are. Leave me alone. SBS, never tried it, never heard of it. Interesting though. I might try and take a look at that, if I can find it. Not so impressed. How is that not impressive? First layer height was 0.2 millimeters, I believe. First layer height, sorry, is 0.3. I mean, to be fair, when you show the benchy this close up on screen, you're getting way more detail than I can actually see with my naked eye. So, and it's going to take ages to focus again, so it's just going back there. No, 0.3 for the first layer and then 0.2 for every layer after that. ABS is support material. That's got to be like the least reliable support material ever, hasn't it? I suppose if you've got a decent enclosure, that'd be probably fine. Okay, cool. We've actually finished mildly on time there. Not too bad at all. Yeah, that's why I mentioned it's shrink to 60%. I mean, it's difficult to see really how small 60% is. I don't think I have another benchy to hand, which is unfortunate. I used to have them all over the place, and I just got rid of them because they were irritating me. It is very, very small. So any issues that you're seeing on the screen are really not that bad in real life, because this thing is pretty tiny. As I said, I'm really impressed with it. So if my statement alone is enough for you to go by, then hopefully that helps your judgment. The only thing is obviously the stringing. The stringing is very obvious. As I said, I think that's something that you could tune out. It's just a retraction thing. I don't think you'd have too much difficulty getting rid of that. There you go. You can see my nice girly fingernails again. Right. I think dissolving your entire model in acetone is probably a little bit overkill. You probably interface support material or interface dissolvable support material is probably the better way to go. So you're just dissolving part of it, but I don't think you'd need a lot of acetone, I think. Doesn't it take a lot of acetone to dissolve ABS? I mean, you're trying to really, really... Softening is one thing, dissolving is a whole other thing. Okay, let's not talk about fingernails anymore. That's a bit much. Anyway, I think that is it for today. A pretty successful little live stream. Ender 3 V2, provided by Banggood. Thank you very much to them for sending it over to me. There's a link below, which is an affiliate link, so it doesn't cost you anything extra to purchase from there, but it does give me a little kickback because that lets them know that I sent you. At this point, I don't know if I can necessarily recommend it. It seems like a pretty good printer, but obviously I've not tested it a lot. Bad things could happen, but at the moment it looks very promising. Very similar results to what you would see from the Ender 3. But you get the 32-bit control board, 2208 stepper drivers, a really nice, I do quite like the colour touchscreen. You'd think it's not that much of an upgrade, but it does kind of improve the usability a little bit. Extruders very much the same, hot end very much the same. You get this nice aesthetic shroud over the top, which means you can't stab your fingers in anything, which is nice. And it seems like they have genuine Gates belts, which is, if it is really genuine and not just labelled as such, then that is really good to see. Motors are getting a bit hot. We'll have to check that out. I suspect the currents are set a little bit excessively high, and they've just not bothered changing them for some reason, or not tuned them, or it's an early firmware and just needs updating. Not too sure. We'll look into that, but I will be looking to do a review on this. I think it's going to be popular enough to worth me spending a decent time getting a review done. I think that's going to be it from me today. Just trying to think if there's anything else I need to mention before we go. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for everyone interacting. There's been lots of questions and I really enjoy answering those, so thank you for doing that. That makes the stream enjoyable for me and hopefully enjoyable for you as well. So thank you very much for watching again, and I shall see you in the next one. Goodbye and good night or good day or good morning or whatever time it is for you.